Going to be sharpening an 8-sided Ninja Star today. I had a video earlier on how to sharpen a traditional 4-sided Ninja Star, and I had somebody ask me about sharpening an 8-sided Ninja Star. I don't have an 8-sided Ninja Star, but I put two old-fashioned 4-sided Ninja Stars together just to give an example of how it would be sharpening an 8-sided Ninja Star. So the biggest problem with sharpening an 8-sided Ninja Star is you have less space in between each point, as opposed to a 4-sided Ninja Star. You got plenty of space in between to manipulate it, whether you're using an old-fashioned sharpening stone or a handheld sharpening stone. You could go all the way to the bottom of the blade, sharpen all the way to the tip of the blade. Very easy. But once you get into an 8-sided Ninja Star, you lose a lot of that space in between to be able to sharpen. But when we're throwing at targets, we're mainly focusing on the tip. So using a handheld one, it might be too thick to get in between the 2 points. This way is not too bad. I'm able to sharpen a pretty good amount of it. You just want to get your angle, pull, and slide towards the tip at the same time. And you always want to focus on that tip, because when we're throwing at targets, you might have a good throw that doesn't stick. That's because the tip isn't sharp enough. So whenever throwing at targets, we always want to focus on keeping that tip real sharp. Another thing we can do is add honing solution. That's gonna help with the wear of the blade. Whenever we use this, it makes it a little bit easier to sharpen without grinding. So you're sharpening but not grinding away at your blade. So honing solution always helps out. It's always good to use for any metal blade. So if you're gonna pick one of these up for an 8-sided Ninja Star, I suggest trying to get the thinnest one possible. That way it fits in between each point nicely so that you can sharpen. If you're using an old-fashioned stone, you're just gonna angle and go one direction. So I'm gonna pull only one direction. Depending on which side I'm sharpening, I'm gonna pull and only go one direction. So whenever we use our honing solution, you always want to add it to the blade, not to the sharpening stone, because most sharpening stones are very dry. As soon as you add that solution, it'll just absorb right into it. So you really want it on the blade. And when I go only one direction. I go across the stone and pull out at the same time. That way I get extra sharpness on the tip. Always most important when you're throwing at targets to keep a real sharp tip. It'll become dull over time. Never back and forth. So the difference between the 8-sided Ninja Star and the 4-sided is mainly just that distance you have in between each point. I have much more play with the 4-sided Ninja Star. So it becomes a little bit difficult when you're sharpening an 8-sided Ninja Star, but not impossible. So there's several ways to do it. You may not be able to get it sharp right in here because that's all the way at the bottom of the tip, but the most important part is the tip. So as long as you can sharpen the very tip of the Ninja Star, that way when you throw, you're gonna get a nice stick when you're throwing in wooden targets, cardboard, anything.